security solutions, the number and magnitude of data breaches continues to increase every year. Gus, you've been involved in cybersecurity for most of your career. Can you provide the audience with some insights into the causes of some of the recent breaches and why things appear to be getting worse rather than better?
Well, in my book, they're definitely getting worse rather than better. So no appearance here. It's actually happening. Yeah, I think, to my mind, there's four, I think, principal reasons for this. There are myriad of reasons, actually, but there's four that really come to the top of my mind. First off, there's just a lot of money in it. I mean, just look at how much money the ransomware people are getting and things like that. Stealing data is clearly a lucrative business, okay, at this stage of the game. Whether it is a ransomware attack or you're stealing account numbers or identity information or things like that so you can impersonate people and steal identities, it doesn't really matter how you do this. Or if you're a nation state actor, right, you're going here because that's where the data and the information you want to steal is for whatever your nation state advantage you're trying to develop is. The old saying that's attributed to Willie Sutton, although he claims he never said it, by the way, y'all, that when asked why he robbed banks, he says that's where the money is. Well, everything is digital today, including money. And of course, that's the reason why there's so much focus on trying to get into everybody's environment, because that's where it all is. The second reason is, in my book, is that cybersecurity has traditionally taken a backseat to the headlong rush to getting software to market. And this, unfortunately, has been true for as long as software has existed. And right now, it's actually even worse right now. And that's because of this little thing called IoT, right? We have got an explosion of additional devices that is increasing the threat surface by at least an order of magnitude here over the next couple of years. In these IoT devices, and look at the number of breaches and the ability for people to exploit them that are existing. And so we are just continually to crank out code that itself is not fundamentally basically secure. And I think this is a huge problem that we have to begin to address and have to deal with up front. Third, and this actually goes to the other side of the equation as we think about how we build our software and build our system, build networks, but bluntly, good security is too hard. It is just too hard for the average person to be able to do it well, for the average company to be able to do it well. And in particular, it's too hard for SMBs or small and medium businesses that are out there. And two reasons for that. One, not only is it really hard to do, but talent is really, really hard to come by and very, very expensive. And so now you're caught in this awful catch-22 unless you can afford the really high-end talent, the high-priced guys that can help you actually do security well, or you're back there trying to set it up yourself. No matter how you do it, it's too hard, it's too difficult, not enough talent to go around, and the adversary knows this and they're counting on it. And in fact, if you look at a lot of the recent breaches that are happening, these are not direct attacks against well-armored companies, right, from a cybersecurity perspective. They have found a way into the door through third-party vectors in order to conduct the attack, because they can get into their support network, their supply chain, or wherever it's going to be, and they get into these, they're really well protected through that avenue, as opposed to directly beating their head against that brick wall. And then finally, I will tell you that for the longest time, I have felt that we have been approaching security from the wrong direction, right? We've been really doing a perimeter / defense in depth approach to security. And the reality of that is, this is very important. You have to continue to do all that. But the reality is that the adversary is going to get in, right? It's not if, but when they get into your environment. And what we really need to be doing is focusing on what I've talked about for the longest time, as long as you've known me, Christy, this has been a hot topic for me, is what I've always called data-centric security, right? You know what the adversary wants. And as we design our systems and build our environments, what we want to do is we want to focus on what is it the adversary wants to get a hold of, right? They want your data and they want control. And then how do I minimize and limit their ability to get my data? How do I harden my data itself? And how do I ensure that even if the adversary gets into my system, they can't get out with anything that's useful across the board? How do I minimize the blast radius of the damage the adversary can do once they get inside the system? And that's how we need to begin to rethink about cybersecurity, starting from the inside, knowing they're going to get in there, out, as opposed to, in parallel with, is probably a better way to say that, in parallel with doing the perimeter defense and trying to prevent them from getting in at all